Good morning, class 9. Welcome back to the online lecture classes. We are going to continue with The Merchant of Venice, Act 2, Scene 5. So if you remember, in the last class we were talking about the conversation which was taking place between Shylock, Lancelot and Jessica. And Shylock he had got an invitation, all right, so he had to go to attend a party. He was supposed to attend a party, all right, which was with Bassanio and his friends. And we see that Jessica was preparing for her elopement. Okay, she was all prepared to run away from the house of her father with Lorenzo. And Lancelot, he had also left the service of Shylock, and he wanted to join the service of Bassanio. Now we are going to continue from page 63. We see that Lancelot, this I told you in the last class that this scene is a case of dramatic irony, all right, because there are characters on the stage, all right, and the characters on the stage, they are unaware of what is going to happen next, whereas the audience knows about it. Okay, so I had given an explanation about what is a dramatic irony in detail. So now we are going to continue with the speech of Lancelot, which we had started before. Lancelot says, and they have conspired together. Okay, he is talking about the conspiracy, the planning, all right, the planning which was done by Lorenzo and Jessica of eloping, all right, again a case of dramatic irony, all right, but then we see that Shylock is not able to understand anything. I told you in the last class, I will not say you shall see a mask, but if you do, then it was not for nothing that my nose fell a bleeding on Black Monday last. So now here we see that, Lancelot, he is talking about a mask, all right, so which Shylock and, Shylock has failed to understand, all right. This mask is important because like in this procession only, Jessica and Lorenzo had planned to run away, all right, Jessica had planned to run away from the house of her father. So Lorenzo, he says that if there is a mask, then it was not for nothing that my nose fell a bleeding. So he is actually prophesying an omen, all right, a bad sign, all right. So he says that if there is a mask, then something bad is going to happen. All right, so he says that if there's a mask, then something bad is going to happen, because of which my nose was bleeding. Bad sign that something bad is going to happen. So he says that, but if you see a mask, then it was not for nothing that my nose fell a bleeding on Black Monday. So Black Monday, following the Easter, and Easter is celebrated, it's a festival to celebrate the resurrection of Christ. Okay, so he says that fell a bleeding on Black Monday, so his nose started bleeding on Black Monday, a bad sign which was telling about something bad is going to happen. Now fell a bleeding on Black Monday last at 6 o'clock in the morning. So he says that his nose was bleeding in the morning, falling out that year on Ash Wednesday. Again, Ash Wednesday, actually it's on this day, people, they put ashes on their forehead to remind that men, men are made from dust and they will return back to dust. Okay, so Ash Wednesday. So he says that last at 6 o'clock in the morning, falling out that year on Ash Wednesday was 4 years in the afternoon. So very confusing remark by Lancelot. First he says that Black Monday and Ash Wednesday, that event, it took place in the same year, and then he says in the morning and in the afternoon, and then he says that it took place on the same time. So very confusing, all right. What Lancelot says here is very confusing, but actually why this is, what is important here is Lancelot actually, he says everything to Shylock, but Shylock doesn't understand anything because he doesn't even think that his daughter is going to leave his house. All right, so otherwise this speech of Lancelot doesn't make much sense. So he is just prophesying by omens. He is the practice of prophecy. He's ridicule, like here Shakespeare is ridiculing. All right, he is ridiculing. He's saying that Lancelot, he talks about the bad signs, his nose bleeding on Ash Wednesday and Black Monday, which is a bad sign in fact, and actually he talks about that something bad is going to happen. If there's a mask, then something bad is going to happen, but then Shylock is not able to understand anything, whereas the audience, they are able to understand. They know everything as to what is going to happen. Okay, now Shylock is shocked. He says, what are their masks? Hear you me, Jessica? So Shylock says, is there a mask taking place? Are you listening to me, Jessica? Now here he doesn't know that Jessica is the one who is going to take advantage of this mask. Lock up my doors, and when you hear the drum and the viol squealing, viol is unpleasant, squealing is shrill notes. Okay, so he says that when you, Jessica, I have to leave, I have to go to attend the dinner or a dinner party. So when I am away, please close all the windows, lock up the doors and stay inside, because anything can happen. And the viol squealing, he doesn't like this. He doesn't like this profession. I'm sorry, he doesn't like this procession. He doesn't like the mask. All right. So he considers this to be he considers this to be a totally a superficial show business. All right. So he advises Jessica not to come out of the house. And the viol squealing, viol is unpleasant, squealing is shrill notes of the wry-necked five. Wry-necked five is a flute. All right. So he says that when there will be a mask, then when the procession will take place, then the flute will be playing. Don't listen to that. Stay indoors. Clamber means don't climb. Climber means climb. Clamber not you up to the casements then. Casements means window. Nor thrust your head into the public street. So Shylock advises Jessica not to come out of the house when the procession will be there. To gaze on the Christians fools with varnished faces. Varnished is painted. So when this procession, people who take part in this procession, they wear masks, their faces are all painted. So Shylock considers to be an utter stupidity, and he advises Jessica not to come out of the house, not to see the procession, and to close all the doors and the windows and to stay indoor. Okay, but stop my house's ears. Stop my house's ears means close my house's ears. House's ears refers to all the openings of my house. I mean my casements. Casements is window. Let not the sound of shallow foppery enter. Shallow foppery refers to the frivolity or the superficial show business, the stupidity. Okay, so let not the sound of shallow foppery enter my sober house. Sober is peaceful house. By Jacob's staff, if you remember, yes, he swears by the staff of Jacob, his ancestors of the Jew. By Jacob's staff I swear, I have no mind of feasting forth tonight. So he says that I have no mind of feasting forth tonight means I do not want to attend the dinner. I don't want to be away from my home today, but I will go. But since I have been invited, I will be going. Go you before Miss Sarah, he tells the servant to go. Say I will come. So he sends a servant and a foreigner and says that to give the message that he is coming. Lancelot says, I will go before sir. Then, okay, and then he says this aside, all right, he whispered to Jessica. Shylock does not hear this. What does he say? Mistress, look out at the window for all this. So he advises Jessica to look outside the window because somebody is going to come. What he says, there will come a Christian. So he says there will come a Christian. He is hinting at Lorenzo. By will be worth a Jew's eyes. So he says that there will be a Christian who will be coming, and he will be worth your eyes. He will be the most worthy person for you. At this, Shylock, saying this, Lancelot, he makes an exit. So on the stage we have Shylock and Jessica. Shylock says, what says that fool of Hagar's offspring, huh? So Shylock, he can sense that Lancelot has said something to Jessica, but he doesn't understand. So he says, what is he telling? That Hagar's offspring. Actually, it's you can say slang, all right? Hagar's offspring is descendant of Hagar. Hagar was actually a slave woman who worked for Abraham's wife, okay, and people who were despised, people despised by Jews were descendant of Hagar, all right. So she was a slave woman, she was a maid to Abraham's wife. So he gets angry and he says, what is this descendant of Hagar telling, the son of Hagar telling to you? Jessica says his words were, farewell mistress, nothing else. So Jessica says, nothing father, he didn't say anything, he just said goodbye mistress. Then Shylock says the patch refers to fellow is actually Lancelot. The patch is kind enough but a huge feeder means, then he talks about Lancelot, he says this fellow is okay, but then he eats a lot. Snail slow in profit, he is very slow at work, and he sleeps by day more than the wild cat. Wild cat, it's a nocturnal animal. It sleeps all day and it wakes up at night. So more than the wild cat, drones. Now drones is actually, it's a male bee, all right, a male bee which does not search for honey. So it is not of much importance. It stays idle. It doesn't look for honey. It doesn't search for honey. So he calls Lancelot drones, and he says that these drones are idlers. They don't live with me. That is, hive not with me means they cannot live with me. All right, we cannot live together because he is an idler. He doesn't do anything. Just like the male bee, the drones male bee who does not search for the honey. Therefore, I part with him. Therefore, I sent him away. I'm sending him away and part with him to one that would have him help to waste his borrowed purse. He's talking about Bassanio. So he's telling, I'm sending him away, and I'm sending him to a person who is who is a prodigal, all right, who is a very spendthrift kind of a person, and this Lancelot will be helping that prodigal to waste his money. So he's talking about Bassanio. So let him go to Bassanio. This man will help Bassanio to waste his money. This Bassanio is a spendthrift. So this will add a feather to his cap. He is another spendthrift. So he will be spending the entire money of Bassanio. So I'm sending him to sending Lancelot to him. So, to one that I would have him help to waste his borrowed purse, well, Jessica, go in. Perhaps I will return immediately. So, he advises Jessica to get inside because there will be a procession and he does not want his daughter to come out of the house. Well, Jessica, go in. Perhaps I will return immediately. Do as I bid you. So, do as I have told you. Shut doors after you. All right, lock all the doors. Fast bind, fast find. So, he talks about a proverb. He is referring to a proverb which says that if you keep everything properly, if you lock everything properly, then when you return back, you will find everything in its proper place. Okay, so fast bind, fast find. So if you keep everything locked up, all right, you will find it when you come back, everything in its own place. You will find everything safe. A proverb never stale in thrifty mind. So he says a proverb which is never old in thrifty mind means careful mind. Then saying this, he exits. Now Jessica is alone on the stage. This is a case of soliloquy. All right, this is a case of soliloquy. Yeah. This is a case of soliloquy. We see Jessica alone on the stage, and she's talking, she's speaking her mind aloud, all right, which is meant for the audience, all right. So she says, farewell, and if my fortune be not crossed, if my fortune be not crossed, that means if nothing goes wrong with the plans, all right, I have a father, you a daughter lost. So he says that if everything, she says that if everything goes on smoothly, if my plan becomes successful, then I have a father, all right, and you a daughter lost. So she says, I will be losing a father and my father will be losing a daughter. That means she says that if everything goes on well, then she will be leaving the house of Shylock and she will be running away. So in doing that, her father will be losing a daughter and the daughter will be losing a father. All right. So with this, we come to the end of the scene, Act 2, Scene 5. All right. So we are going to continue with the next scene in the next class.